there are a lot of people that are listening to this that send me a lot of specific questions about things they're facing in their life. As much as I want to get to those, I do want to know very generally, what are some of the top pieces of advice you can give to people to improve their quality of life?
Yeah, good question. I think straight away the first thing that goes to mind, and I'll quickly kind of go a little bit onto the side here, is thank God, like I do come from a very rich history family in health. So my grandfather, he was an acupuncturist, a naturopath, a chiropractor, and what else was he? An iridologist, which I am as well. So, you know, and back then, very, very woo-woo, right? And he studied mineral therapy, and that's something that blew my mind, and it's something I've been studying for the past year or two, and I absolutely love it. Hair tissue mineral analysis. Biggest thing that I'm seeing with people is that we're just very deficient in minerals. And so, and when we're in a very fearful state, we're in a very stressful state, very much living in a parasympathetic state, the body uses up more minerals. So the first thing that I'd be recommending, and Barbara did this so well, she did it once, and when she hit it off on TikTok, I couldn't get Celtic salt for like a month. Right? Like, I don't know if, do you guys remember this? Like, it went off, and I went to every health food store, and salt was just sold out, because Barbara was like, hey, when you have a drink of water, get some Celtic salt that has 78 to 82 trace minerals, put it under your tongue, drink it, and that will replace the minerals for the day. And it just went gangbusters.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that what we have? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it with everything. Yeah.
Well, you should salt everything. Again, we are the salt of the earth. Like, again, biblically, it's talked about that in Leviticus as well. Like, it's salt everything. Like, and when I say salt everything, not processed salt, not bleached salt, we're talking about Redmond salt, we're talking about Baja Gold salt, we're talking about Celtic or even Himalayan. And so first thing is, like, get your minerals back up. Like, regardless of what issue you're facing, look at food as medicine and get minerals. You can get things like trace minerals, you can get little drops and put it in your water. Again, biggest thing we want to get from our minerals in is through our hydration. So we want that hydration to be a really good mineral drink to keep replacing. That's my first thing I try to teach my clients, okay? Hydration and this, because most people are dehydrated. So that would be the major thing. The other thing I would probably focus on is, like you mentioned, it would be some form of rest, whether it be sleep or it'd be finding ways in your day just to take a time out, right? And understand emotionally, what are you feeling right now? Like, where are you feeling those emotions? We know I very much teach my clients things, a term called David Hawkins, who created this chart called the scale of emotions, or emotions of scale. And he found out, because he was a kinesiologist, he found out that our emotions are fear, right? That's where the other system will try to project fear onto you so that they can have control. But energetically, on a hertz level, a frequency level, because everything is energy. Okay, Albert Einstein stated that, and he's a very smart man, smarter than all of us put together. So he basically, fear is measured at 100 hertz. Love is measured at 524.
If I can just take 20 seconds of your time, I apologize for interrupting this clip. If you'd like to support Turning Point Australia and what we're doing to help keep the lights on and keep the work going moving forward, please check out our website at tpaust.com.au. We've got a range of merchandise, whether it's the Make Australia Great Again hat, whether it's the other shirts that we have, or the educational maps that we have. Please go and support. If you don't want to buy any merch, that's fine. You can also support us by buying us a coffee and becoming a regular subscriber for as little as $4 a month. I'll let you guys get back to it. Thank you so much.
Bit of a difference.
Right.
Shame and guilt are measured at 30 to 20 hertz, right? And so again, if we think, hey, I'm being unproductive, I'm taking a rest, and I feel a bit of guilt for that, your cells are operating at a very low energy. So we have to find freedom in actually resting and be like, no, this is my sovereign right to rest, and it's okay. So I actually, there's a big thing I help my clients with, is like permission, right? Having compassion to yourself to actually rest and recover. So, and then with hydration and minerals. But yeah, there's so many things. Like, I'm sure we're going to go deep with Barbara, and her Sustain Me model is absolutely phenomenal. Fasting is another one. I am a big fan of water fasting, to an extent. I think in fasting back in the day, maybe I'd say probably about 50 years ago, maybe even 30, was a lot healthier to do than it is today, because we're surrounded by more toxins than ever. So when we're looking at there's a big term in detoxing, you can't detox if you don't drain first. And what that means is if you've got a bathtub, right, and the bathtub is overflowing because the tap's on, what's the first thing do you do? Do you turn the tap off and then drain the bath, or do you drain it and just hope that the bath ends? You'd probably turn the tap off and then drain the bath, right?
Yeah.
Where we're living in our Western society is that we're bombarded with more toxins than ever before. So our whole system has never changed like our ancestors have, and they were able to detox naturally. The issue here is our bodies can't keep up with the load of toxins it's under at the moment. So a big thing I do is, well, eliminate first. First thing you should do before adding anything in to your health protocols is in your everyday, Barbara talks about abstaining. What are you consuming that potentially could be contributing to that condition? Right. Let's look at the root cause here a little bit. Let's be a bit smarter and go, maybe we stop that. Maybe it is seed oils. Maybe it is processed foods and processed wheats. Maybe it is that drink you're having. Maybe what is it for you, right? Yeah. Can we just reduce that and eliminate that?
Right.
Then we've turned the tap off. Now we can drain that bathtub by opening up our drainage funnels, our liver, our gallbladder, our bile flow, opening up the colon, how often we go into the toilet, doing all those things to help the function of the body get back to homeostasis, back to how it should be. So on a principle level, that would probably be my answer is first step is being aware of your environment. Sure. Can we reduce the toxin load? Once you've done that, second step is now let's go to detoxing and opening up the body again.
Right, and it's not that difficult, is it? It's like take an inventory of what you're consuming, but don't rule anything out. Like the water you drink, and again, you don't need a $5,000 water thing. We need to point out there's some pyramid schemes out there that run around.
I know the one you're talking about.
There's a few of them, aren't there? But there's some great ways to get good water into your household
and start with where you're at. Yeah. I think that's a big thing I teach my clients. Like it took me a long time to get a lot of the devices I have in my home. I didn't just do that. I learned about this and I couldn't afford it.
Sure.
So I had to start with where I was at.
Right.
And, bit by bit.
But rule nothing out, right?
And rule nothing out. Your cookware, your personal care products, the clothing that we're wearing. That's a big one I just put up just recently on my social media is that, again, it talks about this in the Bible, that you shouldn't mix wool with linen. Right, and big
that's right. Old Testament,
Old Testament stuff, and you go, okay, why is that? And again, everything is energy, everything is frequency. Wool is measured at 3,000 hertz, right? But a lot of people are wearing plastic, polyester, synthetic clothing. That's at 15 hertz. So 15 to 3,000, and disease and sickness is also measured at 15 hertz. So we're wearing a product every single day. I think about the sporting industry and the athletic wear industry. Everyone's wearing and sweating in this stuff. These are known as phthalates, are known as what's called endocrine disruptors. And we're having a lot of issues, women in particular, but men also, a lot of endocrine issues, a lot of hormonal issues. And we're like, could it be the clothing you're wearing? Let's not rule anything out here. Could it be that? Could it
sweating, open up your pores?
A little bit over time starts to create the issue. Right? Does that make sense?
It does, and you can see how you take a lens to everything. Like look at your hairspray, look at your toothpaste, look at your toothbrush, look at the shampoo, the conditioner, your everyday.
Yeah, the microplastics in your toothbrush and all that type of stuff. And then coming back to that biblical saying where he says don't mix wool with linen. One, they're saying don't mix plant with animal. That was kind of the concept. But actually, when they actually take these two, because I think linens, I think it's like 1,000 hertz, wool 3,000. But when you put them together, they go zero. Energetically, frequency measured, they just rule each other out and they go zero.
Right.
I was like, did they just know something back in the day that we just didn't? Did they we lost an intelligence that with nature?
Well, I'm laughing because you said salt.
Yeah.
And grandmother's just like, it's never enough salt. You know what I mean? Like my more salt, and it's like, and it makes so much. It's like. They don't explain why. They just dictate.
But then we've got this industry that's saying, high sodium is going to cause kidney issues.
Yeah.
I was like, well, hang on. Well, let's just talk about the quality of the sodium we're having here.
Yeah.
We're having bleached, salt, or are we having actual sea minerals, basically? I think Barbara does a good job saying a sea has 92 minerals and these salts have 82, very close to each other. So, and again, our plasma is very much in that kind of salt water. It's like we got to be, as we're created from the dust, we're created from earth, we want to be connected to it as much as possible.
Thank you so much for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed this particular clip. If you want to support this show and keep the lights on and support everything we're doing at Turning Point Australia, please head to tpaust.com.au, where we've got hats, we've got shirts, we've got maps. And if you don't want to buy any merch, that's perfectly fine. If you want to just buy maybe a cup of coffee a month, for as little as $4 a month, you can help us get a small, long black to actually support the show and actually keep things going. Thank you guys so much for your support. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you later.